Ladies and gentlemen, let me ask you something. Have you ever noticed how, as we get older, the world seems to push us to do more? More work, more commitments, more expectations. But the truth is, after all these years of striving, working hard, and chasing endless milestones, what matters now? What do we truly need in the later chapters of life? Make no mistake, it's not about doing more, it's about doing less. Yes, you heard that right. Doing less. It might sound counterintuitive, even ridiculous, in a world that constantly urges us to hustle harder. But let's take a moment together and think about it. After decades of running the race, it's time to slow down and choose wisely where we spend our most precious asset, time. If you are not subscribed, I recommend subscribing and activating the notification bell so you don't miss any videos. If you like the topic of this video, please comment 1. If you don't, please comment 0 to let me know how I can improve and make better videos for you. Now, let's begin. Doing less is truly the key to discovering what fulfillment feels like. When I say do less, I'm not suggesting that you give up or resign yourself to a life of passivity or apathy, not. I'm talking about being intentional, about making conscious choices about where you direct your energy. At this stage of life, the truth is impossible to ignore. Time is your most precious asset. I don't care how much money you've accumulated or how high your status has risen in your career. Time is the one thing you can't get back. The world has always shouted at us to hustle, to keep striving for more money, more status, more accomplishments. But I've come to wonder, is this the best strategy now? Maybe it's time for us to redefine what success means. For years, we were conditioned to think that happiness equaled the accumulation of wealth, material possessions, and a growing list of accomplishments. But as the years pass, many of us are waking up to the painful yet beautiful truth. Happiness isn't something that can be bought or earned through hard work alone. Happiness is a quiet, tender thing that comes from nurturing what truly fills us with joy and peace. It's in those moments when we stop and ask ourselves, what do we truly want less of in our lives? Is it less stressful, less obligation, less noise that drowns out the important things? In the stillness of reflection, many of us come to realize that it's freedom. Freedom from the constant rat race, from endless commitments, and from doing things that no longer hold meaning, that brings lasting happiness. The world often tries to convince us that accumulating more is the goal, but in the quiet of our hearts, we know the truth: time over money. In a society that has long equated value with wealth, it's easy to forget that true worth isn't measured by the zeros in your bank account. We've spent so many years earning, saving, and planning for a future that always felt just around the corner. But then the future arrives and we find ourselves asking, what is the true measure of success when you're in your 60s, 70s, or 80s? If you take a moment to ask yourself what you value most now, it might not be the grand house, the shiny car, or the countless material possessions that have filled your life. No, it's the gift of time. The ability to be present, to spend moments with those you love, to savor simple pleasures. The things that once seemed so important, the constant need to hustle and work, suddenly fade into the background. At this point in life, the thought of having a day filled with joy and peace far outweighs the thought of adding more money to your bank account. I'm not saying that money isn't important. Of course it plays a role in our security, and I acknowledge that. But once our basic needs are met, the endless accumulation of wealth no longer holds the same power over us. The question becomes, what are you doing with the time you have left? I can't stress this enough. At this stage, I urge you to value your time just as much, if not more, than you've valued money throughout your life. Time, once spent, is gone forever, and no amount of wealth can ever buy it back. Invest your time wisely. Prioritize the moments that matter, because those fleeting moments, more than anything, will become the true treasures of your life. Less work, more life. For decades, we've been told that hard work is the sole path to success and happiness, and that the more you work, the more you'll achieve. But I'm starting to believe that's a lie. More work doesn't necessarily equal more life. It can often mean the exact opposite. Work can take us away from the very things that fill our souls with happiness and peace. Maybe you're retired, or maybe you're just considering stepping away from the grind of daily life. Either way, this is the perfect time to ask yourself, What does work mean to you now? For much of our lives, work has been the central point around which everything else revolved. But now, life after work holds a new kind of freedom. A freedom to choose how you want to spend your time. The questions become, what commitments can I let go of? What activities are no longer serving my happiness? What do I want more of in my life? For some of us, it's the small pleasures, more time outdoors, a leisurely morning walk, or perhaps reconnecting with hobbies that we left behind for too long. For others, it might be exploring new passions, learning something you've always wanted to learn, or finally spending more time with your family, making up for the years that slipped by too fast. The beauty of this stage is that the choices are all yours to make. You've earned this freedom. Embrace it, cherish it. Living on your terms means subtracting, not adding. For so much of our lives, we've been conditioned to believe that the answer to all of life's challenges is to add more possessions, more commitments, more accomplishments. But what if the real answer, the real key to happiness, is to subtract instead? Now that you're in the later stages of life, it's time to reflect on all the things that take up your time and energy. What adds value? What matters? What's worth your time? And what is simply a habit or expectation forced upon you by the world around you? This is the time to let go of the things that drain you and focus on what feeds your soul. There is an undeniable, almost magical freedom that comes from realizing you don't have to do it all. For so much of our lives, we were taught that we have to fill every waking moment with tasks, responsibilities, and obligations, constantly chasing after more, striving to meet expectations, and pushing ourselves to our limits. But what if the real secret to peace and fulfillment lies in doing less? What if, instead of packing our days with must-dos, we focused solely on what makes us feel alive, what fills us with joy and purpose? Simplifying our lives and letting go of unnecessary clutter, both physical and mental, creates space for the things that truly matter. It's about learning the invaluable art of saying no to things that drain you so you can say a heartfelt yes to the things that fill your soul with light and happiness. The joy of simplicity. It's something we often overlook in our fast-paced, demanding world, but as we age, we begin to realize that true joy doesn't lie in the accumulation of wealth, status, or possessions. No, the things that bring us the most happiness are often the simplest, the quietest moments. Time spent with loved ones, the warmth of a cup of coffee in your hands, the sound of birds singing outside your window at dawn. These are the gifts that don't come with a price tag, yet they fill us with a profound richness that no amount of money could ever replicate. We live in a society obsessed with more success, more stuff, more accomplishments, more validation. But with time, many of us discover that joy doesn't grow in more, it grows in less. Less stress, less noise, less chaos. We find peace in the quiet moments, in the simple pleasures we may have been too busy to notice in our younger years. And when we stop and truly think about it, we realize that the most fulfilling moments of our lives are often the ones that cost nothing. So ask yourself, what are the things that genuinely bring you joy? Is it a slow, peaceful walk through the park? Breathing in the fresh air and feeling the sun on your face? Is it a deep, meaningful conversation with an old friend, reconnecting and sharing the stories of your lives? Or perhaps it's a quiet evening at home, curled up with a good book, allowing yourself to get lost in another world. Whatever those simple pleasures are, make time for them. Carve out moments in your day, in your week, for these treasures, because these are the moments that will stand out when you look back. And then there's the most powerful gift of all. Freedom from the opinions of others. This is a lesson that becomes clearer with each passing year. What others think of you simply doesn't matter. When you're younger, it's so easy to get caught up in the whirlwind of other people's judgments, whether it's about your appearance, your choices, or the way you choose to live your life. You find yourself second-guessing, trying to fit into boxes that others have created for you. But with time, something shifts. You start to realize that people's opinions are just that. Opinions. Their views of you, their expectations, the standards they set, they have no power over you unless you give it to them. The way you look, the decisions you make, the life you lead, none of it needs to be explained or justified to anyone. This is where true freedom begins, the freedom to live life on your terms, without fear of judgment or criticism. The wisdom that comes with age allows you to finally break free from the constant pressure to conform. You no longer need to seek approval, nor do you need to hide parts of yourself to fit in. You are enough just as you are, and that realization is a gift beyond measure. Embrace it, let go of the shackles of other people's expectations, and walk your path with pride and peace. This is your life, and after all these years, you've earned the invaluable right to live it on your terms, free from the expectations and pressures that once dominated your every decision. It's time to stop worrying about what others think of you, let go of the weight of needing to seek approval or meet the standards that society or others have set for you. Embrace the powerful freedom that comes with allowing yourself to be fully, unapologetically yourself. This is your moment to shine in all your authenticity and truth, to wear the clothes that make you feel comfortable and confident, to engage in activities that bring you joy, and most importantly, to step into your skin without needing validation from anyone else. The only opinion that truly matters at this stage of your life is your own. You've earned this peace, this space to live for yourself and for what makes your heart sing. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment one below to let me know that you are still here with me. This is a profound realization because so many of us have spent decades trying to conform, trying to meet others' expectations, and trying to live up to standards that weren't truly our own. We've played roles, put on facades, and made choices not for our happiness, but because we felt it was what was expected of us. But now, as the years pass and the weight of the years becomes more tangible, we find a new sense of liberation. We begin to shed the layers that were never ours, and we embrace who we are at the core, fully understanding that this is our life and no one else gets to define it. In addition to embracing our individuality, there's also incredible power in the art of letting go. Letting go is not just a passive act of surrender, it is an intentional and powerful choice that frees us from the weight of unnecessary burdens. One of the most challenging, but also one of the most rewarding lessons we learn as we age is how to release our grip on the future we once envisioned for ourselves. For much of our younger years, we spent countless hours planning, preparing, and hoping for a perfect future. We worked tirelessly, planned for retirement, saved money, and invested in a vision of what life would be like once we reached a certain age. But as time passed, we often found that life didn't follow the script we had written. And while this can feel unsettling, there's a certain freedom in embracing that the future we imagined is not necessarily the one we're meant to have. And that's okay. The beauty of letting go is that it allows us to focus on what truly matters, this very moment. Life is unpredictable, and there's no way to control every twist and turn that comes our way, whether it's changes in our health, financial challenges, or unexpected circumstances. But once we let go of the illusion that we can control every aspect of our lives, we open ourselves up to something much more precious, the freedom to fully live in the present. We stop obsessing over what may or may not happen tomorrow, and we start asking ourselves, what can I enjoy today? How can I make the most of the here and now with all its imperfections and uncertainties? By letting go of rigid expectations and releasing the need to control every detail of the future, we free ourselves from unnecessary stress. In doing so, we open ourselves to unexpected joys, new opportunities, and moments of peace that we never could have planned for. Life becomes a series of small, beautiful surprises when we stop trying so hard to dictate how it unfolds. After years of hard work, responsibility, and striving to meet goals, it's time to live with a sense of ease, to breathe deeply, and to appreciate the simple pleasures that were always there, but maybe too busy to notice. You've earned the right to take a step back and let life come to you on its terms. It's time to focus on the present and trust that all the preparations you've made throughout your life have prepared you for this very moment. You've done enough, and now it's time to live with peace in your heart. One of the most powerful tools for achieving peace and true happiness in these later years is embracing gratitude. As we grow older, it's all too easy to become fixated on the things we've lost, the vibrancy of youth, the physical abilities that may be fading, and the loved ones who are no longer with us. But this focus on loss can cloud our ability to see the many blessings that still surround us. What if we could shift our perspective, even for just a moment, and focus not on what we've lost, but on what we still have? Gratitude isn't just an abstract feeling, it's a practice, a deliberate mindset that, when adopted, has the power to completely transform our outlook on life. When we take the time each day to reflect on what we're grateful for, whether it's the warm glow of the sun, the sound of laughter from our grandchildren, or the simple act of walking outside and feeling the fresh air on our skin, those small moments start to add up, and they begin to create a life that feels rich in ways we never anticipated. Gratitude helps us to see that true wealth doesn't come from material things or grand achievements. It's found in the moments we share with those we love, in the ability to appreciate the beauty of a sunset or the joy of a conversation. These moments, though they may seem small, are the very fabric of a life well lived. Gratitude doesn't mean we ignore the challenges we face, whether they be physical limitations, emotional struggles, or the inevitable losses that come with age. Instead, it means choosing to acknowledge the beauty that still exists despite the difficulties. It's about recognizing that, even in the face of hardship, we still have reasons to be thankful. Maybe it's the quiet peace of a morning alone with a cup of tea, or the deep connection we share with a longtime friend. These small joys are reminders that happiness is not always found in big dramatic moments, but in the quiet appreciation of what is right in front of us. As we move forward, the practice of gratitude becomes a guide, a lens through which we can view life in a richer, more meaningful way. It doesn't just help us focus on the good, but it shifts our entire mindset toward the beauty and possibility of each day. Gratitude invites us to celebrate every little victory, every tender moment, and every relationship we still cherish. In the end, it is gratitude that turns ordinary moments into extraordinary memories. It's the foundation for a life of lasting happiness, one that is not dependent on the circumstances we find ourselves in, but on our ability to appreciate and honor what we have right now. Embrace gratitude, and you will begin to see the world through a new, more hopeful and joyful perspective, finding purpose in the everyday, meaning beyond accomplishments. As we travel through life, especially after years of building careers, raising families, and achieving numerous milestones, there inevitably comes a time when we ask ourselves, what is my purpose now? In earlier stages of life, purpose often seemed to be tied to grand achievements, career success, personal accolades, or fulfilling our roles within our families. The narrative was clear. The purpose was something to strive for, something to achieve, something that was measured by external markers of success. But as we move forward into the later stages of life, it becomes evident that purpose doesn't have to be found in big, visible accomplishments anymore. It can be found in the most simple and beautiful of moments, moments that are often overlooked in the rush of our busy lives. The purpose is not a static, distant destination that you reach after completing a checklist of achievements. It is a dynamic, evolving part of our daily existence. It breathes life into our actions and choices, even in the quietest moments. It resides in the way we connect with others, in the tender acts of kindness we offer, and in the small ways we continue to contribute to the world around us. Purpose doesn't need to be grand. It can be found in the simplest interactions. Sometimes purpose can be as humble as being there for a friend who needs support, sharing a laugh, offering a shoulder to lean on, or passing on the wisdom that life has taught you to the next generation. It can be the way we nurture the bonds we've built over the years, whether it's with family, friends, or even our community. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment too below to let me know that you are still here with me. At this stage of life, many of us find that purpose comes not from our external accomplishments, but from rediscovering the passions and interests that we might have set aside during the busier, more demanding years of our lives. Perhaps now is the time to embrace something you once loved. Gardening, painting, knitting, volunteering, or even just taking the time to care for a beloved pet. These seemingly modest activities carry a deep sense of fulfillment that isn't tied to external recognition. Instead, they allow us to reconnect with what truly matters to us in a way that feels both meaningful and enriching. In doing these things, we enrich our own lives and in turn contribute to the lives of those around us in quiet, valuable ways. So as you reflect on your journey, it's important to remember that purpose isn't something you need to chase or strive for. It's already here, quietly woven into the small actions and choices you make each day. The key to uncovering your purpose at this stage is to live with intention, to be fully present in each moment, and to stay true to the values that have shaped your life thus far. Purpose isn't about doing more, it's about being more. It's about being present with the life you've created, with the people you cherish, and with the world around you. It's in these simple moments that life's true meaning reveals itself. Embrace this time with gratitude, and know that your purpose is not only in the big moments, but in every small, loving act of care you give to the world and those you hold dear. As we wrap up today's video, I want to take a moment to reflect with you. We've explored how to find fulfillment by doing less, how to embrace gratitude and simplicity, and how to discover purpose in the everyday moments of life. These insights are more than just ideas. They are tools we can carry with us as we navigate the later stages of life, helping us live with intention and meaning. So what have you learned so far? What resonates with you the most? I encourage you to take a moment and reflect on one thing you've learned today that you will commit to practicing in your life. Please share it with us in the comments below this video. I'd love to hear what small, meaningful change you're going to make based on what we discussed today. If you liked this video, please leave your comment below. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more content like this. Thank you so much for watching, and remember, life is a journey, and the best moments are often the ones we least expect.